Indonesia's Mount Dukono erupts, leaving tourists trapped near the crater. Powerful winds rip through Moscow as a major storm approaches the city. Russian functional fitness champion Dmitry Isayev shot dead in Kaluga. Tensions rise in the Strait of Hormuz after clashes between US and Iranian forces. A tornado tears through Cambodia, damaging homes and injuring residents. These and other major stories coming up in today's report.
Authorities in Indonesia are searching for around 20 tourists who were reportedly trapped near Mount Dukono after the volcano erupted on Halmahera Island on May 8th. The eruption sent a massive column of ash and smoke into the sky, covering parts of the area with volcanic debris. According to local officials, visibility around the crater dropped rapidly as ash clouds spread across the slopes. Emergency crews responded to the scene, and search teams were deployed into the dangerous zone. Rescue operations remain difficult because of ongoing volcanic activity and the threat of additional eruptions. The situation remains under close monitoring. Videos circulating online show thick gray smoke rising above the volcano while ash falls over nearby terrain. Authorities have temporarily restricted access around the crater and warned residents about possible ash exposure and respiratory risks. Police in Nizhny Novgorod are searching for a man who shot another bar visitor in the head with a signal pistol following a late-night argument on May 8th. According to preliminary reports, two groups were drinking inside the venue when a conflict broke out. Witnesses say one of the men invited the victim outside to talk. Once outside the bar, the suspect allegedly pulled out a signal pistol and fired at close range, striking the victim in the head. Authorities say the attacker then quickly got into a BMW with his girlfriend and fled the scene. Emergency crews responded within minutes. The injured man was hospitalized with serious injuries. His current condition has not been officially released. Videos from surveillance cameras and eyewitness recordings began circulating online shortly after the shooting. A powerful tornado swept through parts of Cambodia on May 8th, damaging homes and injuring residents as severe weather moved across the region. According to local authorities, the tornado formed rapidly and tore through residential neighborhoods, ripping roofs off buildings, knocking down trees, and scattering debris across streets. Emergency crews responded to the affected areas while rescue operations continued throughout the day. Witnesses described scenes of chaos as strong winds lifted metal sheets, wooden structures, and debris into the air. Videos shared online show the funnel cloud moving through populated areas while residents rushed to find shelter. Several neighborhoods were left without electricity after power lines were damaged. Rescue teams are continuing to inspect destroyed homes and search for possible victims trapped under debris. Tornadoes are considered relatively rare in Cambodia, but meteorologists say unstable weather conditions and strong thunderstorms have increased across the region in recent days. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed. Moscow is bracing for a major storm system after powerful winds swept across the Russian capital on May 8th, uprooting trees and damaging structures across several districts. Russia's emergency services issued a yellow weather warning for the city, with forecasters predicting thunderstorms, heavy rain, hail, and potentially dangerous wind gusts through the evening hours. Videos circulating online show trees being ripped out of the ground, road signs shaking violently, and debris flying through city streets. Witnesses also reported damage to parked vehicles caused by falling branches. Emergency and Commonalty crews have been placed on high alert as authorities urge residents to avoid standing near trees, billboards, and unstable structures during the storm. Authorities in the Russian city of Kaluga are investigating the killing of Russian functional fitness champion Dmitry Isayev, who was shot dead on May 8th. According to preliminary reports, the suspect is a 41-year-old man who was allegedly jealous of his former girlfriend's relationship with the athlete. Investigators say the conflict escalated shortly before the shooting. Witnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots near a residential area before emergency crews and police arrived at the scene. Isayev suffered fatal injuries and was pronounced dead shortly afterward. Dmitry Isayev was well known in Russia's functional fitness community and had competed in several national-level competitions. News of his death quickly spread across social media, where athletes and fans expressed shock over the killing. Police in Trinidad and Tobago are investigating a triple homicide that took place early on May 8th in the Belmont area near Port of Spain. According to local authorities, 3 people were killed, including a child, after gunfire erupted in a residential neighborhood during the morning hours. Witnesses say residents ran from their homes after hearing multiple shots. Emergency crews and police quickly sealed off the area while investigators began examining the scene. Reports indicate the victims were found near a residential property, though officials have not yet released further details about the circumstances of the attack. Trinidad and Tobago has faced growing concerns over violent crime in recent years, particularly in areas surrounding the capital. The death of a child in this incident has sparked widespread public reaction across the country. A woman in Sao Paulo, Brazil, has gone viral after reportedly jumping out of an Uber vehicle to avoid paying a ride fare worth around $2. The incident took place on May 8th in one of the city's busy districts. According to witnesses, the passenger began arguing with the driver over the cost of the short trip. While the vehicle was stopped in traffic, the woman suddenly opened the door and attempted to flee the scene. Reports indicate the ride cost was approximately $2. Many users mock the situation, calling the escape attempt more dramatic than the actual fare itself. It remains unclear whether the driver filed a police report or contacted Uber support. However, the clip has already become one of the most discussed viral videos in Brazil today. Traffic in central Athens was thrown into chaos on the morning of May 8th after a major water pipe operated by Greece's water company EYDAP burst near Syntagma Square. The rupture occurred on Karageorgi Servia Street, one of the busiest areas in the Greek capital. According to local authorities, water flooded the roadway within minutes, forcing officials to completely shut down traffic in the area. Massive congestion quickly formed across central Athens, with buses, taxis, and private vehicles becoming trapped in gridlock. Videos circulating online show water violently erupting from beneath the pavement as streets near Syntagma Square rapidly filled with water. Emergency repair crews and police responded to the scene and began working to contain the leak and pump water out of the affected area. Officials say the operation has been complicated by dense urban infrastructure and heavy traffic conditions. A bizarre incident in the Russian city of Toulon has gone viral after a drunk driver involved in a multi-car crash allegedly pretended to be a foreigner and began speaking a made-up language to avoid responsibility. The accident happened on May 8th and involved 4 vehicles. According to preliminary reports, the driver of a Toyota was heavily intoxicated at the time of the crash. Witnesses say that after the collision, the man began shouting random phrases and pretending he could not understand Russian. Videos recorded at the scene captured him yelling nonsensical words, including the phrase, "E salyam bulyagiam solendon shen salyam." Police officers quickly identified the driver despite his unusual behavior. Authorities believe the man may have been attempting to confuse people at the scene and avoid legal consequences for the accident. Emergency crews and traffic police responded to the crash site while investigators worked to determine the full circumstances of the collision. Information about possible injuries has not yet been officially confirmed. A parasailing instructor was killed in Thailand on May 8th after falling from a height of around 50 meters in front of shocked tourists at a beach resort. According to preliminary reports, the accident occurred during a parasailing operation when a safety mechanism or attachment reportedly failed moments after takeoff. Witnesses say the instructor suddenly lost support and fell into the area below within seconds. Panic broke out on the beach as tourists and staff rushed toward the scene. Videos shared online show people screaming and running to help while emergency crews responded to the incident. Rescue teams arrived quickly and attempted emergency medical treatment, but the man died from his injuries at the scene. Authorities have not yet released his identity. Thai police and tourism officials have launched an investigation into the accident. Inspectors are now examining the equipment and reviewing whether proper safety procedures were followed. Firefighters in California continue battling the rapidly spreading canyon fire, which broke out on May 7th in Kern County near the city of Ridgecrest. According to local fire authorities, the wildfire exploded from around 100 acres to nearly 2,000 acres, more than 800 hectares, within just a few hours as strong winds pushed flames through the rugged El Paso Mountains region. Emergency crews remain on the scene as dry vegetation and difficult terrain continue to complicate firefighting efforts. Authorities say the fire is spreading quickly across mountain slopes, creating new hotspots throughout the area. Officials have warned residents in nearby communities to prepare for possible evacuations. Several roads near the fire zone have already been closed as conditions remain unstable. California regularly faces destructive wildfires during dry seasons, but officials say the canyon fire intensified unusually fast due to weather conditions. Information about injuries or structural damage is still being updated. Severe flooding hit the city of Vryburg in South Africa's northwest province on May 8th after heavy rainfall overwhelmed local drainage systems and flooded residential neighborhoods. Residents say water levels rose rapidly, reaching knee height in some homes as streets and yards disappeared under muddy floodwater. People were forced to carry furniture and personal belongings out of flooded buildings by hand. Municipal crews and emergency responders were deployed to the affected areas to assist residents and pump water out of flooded homes. No fatalities have been officially reported so far. Local residents criticized infrastructure problems in the area, saying similar flooding incidents have happened before during periods of heavy rain. Some also warned that construction projects in flood-prone zones continue to create additional risks for homeowners. Weather officials say unstable conditions may continue across parts of the region in the coming days. A wildlife photographer accidentally captured a tense moment in nature after testing a camera with 100 times zoom and discovering a leopard secretly watching him from a distance. At first, the footage appeared to show nothing unusual, only rocks and dry landscape. But after zooming in fully, the hidden predator suddenly became visible, perfectly camouflaged against the terrain. Wildlife specialists explain that leopards are capable of tracking prey from distances exceeding 1.5 kilometers while remaining nearly invisible to the human eye. Social media users describe the footage as both fascinating and terrifying, with many pointing out how easily a predator can stay hidden in plain sight. Australian authorities have charged a 32-year-old woman with terrorism-related offenses after she arrived in Sydney from Syria. According to federal police, the woman was taken into custody immediately after landing at Sydney Airport as part of an ongoing counter-terrorism investigation. Authorities say she had spent an extended period of time in Syria, a region linked to extremist activity over recent years. Counter-terrorism officers and federal agents were deployed at the airport during the operation. Videos shared online show increased security presence around the terminal as investigators escorted the suspect away. Officials allege the woman may have been involved with a terrorist organization, though full details of the case have not yet been released because the investigation remains active. Australia has significantly increased monitoring of citizens returning from conflict zones in the Middle East in recent years. Security agencies say such cases are treated as high priority due to potential national security risks. Tensions in the Middle East intensified on May 8th after the United States and Iran reportedly exchanged attacks on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil shipping routes. According to preliminary reports, several ships were damaged during incidents in the region over the past 24 hours. U.S. officials accused Iran of carrying out attacks against commercial and military targets, while Tehran blamed Washington for escalating the conflict. President Donald Trump commented on the situation, describing Iran's actions as a love tap. Despite the wording, military analysts warn that the situation remains highly unstable. Western media outlets report that the United States temporarily paused operations aimed at securing shipping lanes after diplomatic pressure from Saudi Arabia and other regional allies concerned about a wider military confrontation. Global oil markets reacted immediately. Oil and gasoline prices began climbing amid fears that any disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could severely impact global energy supplies. A significant portion of the world's oil exports passes through the narrow waterway every day. And finally, one of the most unusual and lighthearted stories of the day comes from Turkey. Instead of hiring landscaping crews and using lawnmowers, managers of a residential complex invited a local farmer and hundreds of sheep to trim the grass naturally. Locals reacted with humor, calling the sheep the most eco-friendly lawn service in the world. According to witnesses, the idea was meant to reduce maintenance costs and avoid noise from heavy equipment. Many online users praised the approach as both practical and environmentally friendly. The video quickly spread across social media and became one of the day's most positive viral moments. That's all for now. We'll continue following the latest developments from around the world, from natural disasters and major incidents to global political tensions and viral stories. Stay safe and thank you for watching. See you in the next report.